Stop trading obvious chart patterns and start trading hidden chart patterns. Why? Because every trader, novice and professionals alike, can easily spot obvious chart patterns. And trust me, the market makers will take advantage of this to milk the novice trader dry before the market moves. But don't worry, I'm going to show you a rule-based strategy on how to trade these hidden chart patterns. And in this video, I'll be focusing on double tops alone. Now, what is a double top? A double top is an extremely bearish technical reversal pattern that forms after an asset reaches a high price 2 consecutive times with a moderate decline between the two highs. It is confirmed a double top when the neckline, which is also the support, is broken. Now, what does it look like? A double top forms after an extended move to a higher price, then want to see a rejection back to this previous region here, then a bounce higher again back to this previous high, and then a drop again back to this zone. At this point, traders are looking for possible double tops. And what do we want to see next to trade a double top or to confirm that this is a valid double top? We want to see price break below and keep pushing lower. Now, what's the difference between obvious and hidden chart patterns? Now, the difference between obvious and hidden chart patterns is the obvious chart patterns forms against the trend, while the hidden chart patterns forms within the trend or in line with the trend. Let me show you what I'm talking about on the chart, starting with the obvious chart pattern. I want to show you an example of what an obvious chart pattern looks like. Now, if you go left, this is the daily time frame of the euro dollar. You can tell if you've been trading for a while that throughout last year, euro dollar was super bearish, at least from this point here. I think from between the end of December and the beginning of January 2021, dollar started dominating the euro, right? And for the best part of or throughout last year, price dropped. Now, it has been trading below these two trend lines. Price traded below this trend line throughout last year, and of course below this trend line throughout the middle and towards the ending of last year. And now price has broken above. So if you understand market structure properly, like I have taught in my course, in case you want to get the course, the link is going to be in the description below. So if you understand market structure, after the breakout, of course, we expect price to push higher, at least for some time, and into some certain levels on the higher time frames. I'm not going to be able to talk about all of those here. That's why you need to get the course. Now I want to show you an example of an obvious double top. Right here, it's what we saw some kind of formation. So price never broke below the neckline, so it was never a double top in the first place. But now I want to show you a double top that actually broke the neckline, but it was actually a fake out because it was too obvious. It happened against the trend. Right now, I'm just going to play this. You see, price rejected this trend line, broke above, and was trading below here, then pushed lower. I'm just going to pause here. I'm sorry, it has already played out. But imagine traders shorting Euro USD here because they will feel like, oh, this is the daily time frame and we have a double top that has actually broken below the neckline, obviously. And if you go back to my last 2 weeks video, I think last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks, I actually called this trade long from here. Why? Because I already know these things. Right, I actually call euro dollar long from this zone here. Go back to my 2 weeks weekly videos that I drop, or 3 weeks ago. You are going to see this particular video there. Go and check it out. And price faked novice out, making it look like we've broken below the neckline. And what happened? Price blasted above and kept pushing higher ever since. So now let's talk about hidden chart patterns, which happens to be my favorite. Before we continue, I would like you to understand the rules, because any strategy you are trading that has no rules, then you are never going to be consistent with that strategy. You want a rule that is going to guide you when using that strategy. All right, that's how you make money consistently for a long period of time in the forex market. Now, for the purpose of this video, we are going to be using 3 rules. Number 1, trend identification. We want to identify the trend. Is it a bullish trend or a bearish trend, or are we currently ranging? Number 2, we want to look for our conditions. The condition is we want to see a double top and a break of the neckline, right? And number 3, we want to talk about entries, stops, and targets. All right, now let's dive into it. For double tops, we have to go to the bearish markets to be able to look for that. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using the euro dollar since it trended for the best part of last year. So for those that have gotten the course and has gone through the market structure aspect of the course, you can tell from this point we are now in a bearish market, right? Because obviously we are breaking new lows, creating new lower lows and creating lower highs. So you can see lower highs here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, breaking below this low, and now we went back into that zone. If we break above, then our market structure is going to experience a shift, right? But now let's see if we are going to break above. Since we execute on the 4 hours, let's go to the 4 hours time frame. Or since we execute on the lower time frames, I meant to say, because sometimes I execute on 1 hour, I even go lower sometimes, depending on the nature of the market. Now, this was the previous swing high that I talked about from the daily time frame. So here, I'm just going to remember this trend line has been used. If I go back, I want you to really understand this thing properly. Or I want you to understand it very well and apply it. You can see we've rejected this trend line more than once before. Rejected here before price blasted below, right? And now we are coming back into that trend line, which is a key level. So we want to look for this chart pattern around there. Remember, we are talking about the double top. There are different ways you can execute your trade in the market, but in this video, I'm just focusing on double tops alone. So that's the only thing we are going to be looking for in this video. So I'm just going to go ahead. Let's see how it reacts to that trend line. Okay. So I'm just going to pause here. You can see price has given us a double top. Now there's a rule I want you to put in to bear in mind the way I plot my own double top. I'm just going to show you here. I try to capture the wick to the body of the candle. I'm just going to zoom on the body of the candle, right? Then I'll extend it into the future. Now, all I want to see is a wick can go above the previous swing high. A wick can blast through it, but I don't want to see a body close above it, right? You can see how I captured my wick to the body of the candlestick and extended it right. Now you can see this wick extended above it, but came back and closed below it, right? So now a wick can actually go above it, but I don't want to see a body close above this previous high here, right? That would mean a new higher high for me, and that is not what I want. So as a matter of fact, this is a valid double top for me, and price came and we've blasted below that mini support, just like I explained earlier in this video, right? So which is our neckline, and price has broken below it, right? Now you can see we've identified our trend, which is rule number 1. Number 2, our conditions have been met. We have our double top in a bearish market and the neckline has been broken. So now we'll go to the third rule, which is entry, stops, and targets. I'm sorry guys, I'm not going to be able to talk about entries, stops, and targets. If you want the entry, stop, and target, then I've discussed it extensively in the course, but I'll just go ahead and play this so you see how everything worked out. You see, as a matter of fact, price kept pushing lower, right? We even went for a retest and price did what? Continued pushing lower. As you can see, let's wait for it. Okay, now you can see price blasted all the way down. So let's quickly check out another example. Remember, the first example was around here on the lower time frame. We are back to the daily time frame. It was on the lower time frame when there was a third touch on the 4-hour time frame to the trend line, and a double top formed around here, which we took and traded, and price kept pushing all the way to the downside here. Remember, we are looking for these double tops, not just anywhere in the market. Let's say it just happens in the middle of nowhere. We are not interested in that. We are looking for these double tops at areas of interest. And right now, after that third touch, price blasted down here from our previous example. And now we are coming back to that trend line for a third touch on the daily time frame. So what do? We have to scale down to the lower time frame to look for entries, and for the purpose of this video, we are still looking for double tops. Now I want you to understand something. For those that have the course and understand the concept of market structure, you know when we create a new lower low and price comes back to that zone to retest it in a downtrending market, we'll be expecting some kind of reaction, which quite okay we've been seeing around here. Of course, maybe there are other strategies with which we would have entered this trade, but like I said, we are focusing on double tops alone. Right now, we can create a zone around here because for whatever reason price bounced off this zone, pushed price higher, came back again, it reacted now before blasting all the way down, and now we are back to that zone that confluences with this trend line. Now we are going to go to the lower time frames. Remember, we are looking for double top. So this is that trend line and this is that daily zone that we plotted. Right now, let's see how price reacted when we got back there. All right, I'm just going to pause here. You might be wondering where is the double top here. I'm just going to draw our neckline here and I'll show you why this is our double top. Remember the rule with which I draw my double top that I told you about. I plot from the first high, then I put to the body, of course, like I explained, then I'll project it to the right. Now, a wick can close above or can break above, but a body must not break and close above. So our wick blasted off and came back to close below. So this is a valid what double top for me, right? And as you can see, and price kept pushing lower. Remember our rules. Number one, trend identification. From the daily time frame, we are still in a downtrend. Two, conditions, which is our double top and the neckline broken, which we got. Then, like I said, entry stops and targets. I can't talk about that on this video because it's going to hurt those that have gotten the course. It's not going to be fair to them. All right, let's quickly look at another example. But before we go to another example, I want you to understand that this is not going to work out 100% of the time. There's no strategy that is 100%. All right. But after this video, one thing I want you to do is to backtest properly. Go back, backtest this thing. All you want to do is to be able to backtest and see if it works, right? And if the number of times that it actually did work is higher than the number of times that it failed, then you have a good strategy there. Right? At least you know exactly what you are looking for in the market. And once it plays out, you are going to execute it every single time it happens like that. And over a long period of time, you'll be able to know if it works or not. I advise or I recommend you try this on a demo, but I've been doing this on a live account and the result has been amazing. Now let's continue. Now, still on euro dollar, there is another example. Remember, market structure wise, we are down. So obvious, we are down. And now we are breaking structures, creating new lower highs and lower lows. Like I said, those that have the course will understand this better. Now, we've broken below this market structure, right? And we're expecting price to do two things: come back into this zone or come back into this trend line that has been tested multiple times to give us another entry. Right now, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the daily time frame, we've identified our number one rule, which is the trend of the market. Remember, we are looking for a reaction within either this zone or this trend line. Why are we looking at that zone? Like I said, the typical market structure, if we break below a previous lower low, we expect a retest of that zone for price to continue lower. Now I'm just going to press this replay button here. Let's see how price reacted there. So you can see we had a double top around that zone. Yes, we didn't come into the trend line, but we did come into this area of interest that has been tested multiple times. If you look left, and what happened, we got our double top, right? Our condition was met and our neckline was broken, right? Whatever you choose to call it, whether support or neckline, was broken. So like I said, entries, exits, and stops cannot be talked about here. If you want to know that, you need to get the course. The link is going to be in the description below. And let's see how price performed. Price kept pushing lower. All right, so remember, we are not just looking for any type of double tops, because if you look around your chart, you will see any type of double top. Here is a double top, right? The neckline was actually broken, but why should we trade this double top here? I mean, you can't trade this kind of double top because it's not happening at any level of interest, right? So you want this to be happening at an area of interest for it to be important to you. All right, so we are not just going to trade any double top we see. All right, remember I said we are talking about double top, but let's even look at this double bottom that formed here. I will never trade this kind of double bottom because it's happening in the middle of nowhere. If you go to the daily time frame, monthly time frame, price is not sitting on a key level. So why should I be looking for chart patterns to trade around that zone? So no, but this is a good area for me to trade. Why? Because it's happening at a level of structure, an interesting level of structure. I'm sorry I can't go deep down into it because it's going to make this video one lengthy video, but like I said, it is in the course, and to get to the course, the link is in the description below. So we can see how price came back here and bounced off. I think we've talked enough on euro dollar. Let's look at a more recent price action. Let's go to USD JPY. So if you go to the daily time frame of the USD JPY, price has been trending upward, right? And then price broke below. We retested the trend line, and then we created a new lower low, breaking below this lower low. So our number one rule has been established, which is we are in a downtrending market, right? Creating new lower lows and lower highs, right? So now, typical market structure, we're expecting price to come back into that broken zone to give us a kind of retest for us to keep pushing price down to this zone here, right? Of course, I share this chart on my Telegram channel and my weekly videos, but we are looking for double tops now, right? So double tops we are going to focus on. Now let's go to a lower time frame and look for entries. Now let's see, remember from the higher time frame, we're expecting price to come here and give us an entry here. Now let's see how that played out. We came into that zone. Of course, we didn't know if we were getting a double top yet or not. Remember, we're only looking for double top. Now it looks like we are getting a double top. But let's see what happens. So, as you can see, we now have a double top, and price actually did close below our neckline, right? So entries, exit, and stop loss now happens. Let's see. Oh, there was some kind of manipulation, and then price still blasted and shot all the way to the downside. So there was a manipulation here. Now many traders would have been taken out here, but if you have our course, then you would understand where you should have, how you should have entered this trade, where your stop loss should have been, and all of those good stuffs, right? Once again, the link to the course is in the description below. So I can go on and on and on and on and on, but this video is never going to end if I do that, right? So trading is very easy. The reason why many traders are not profitable is because their strategies lack rules and proper back testing. All right, so I expect you guys to take whatever you've learned in this video, go back to your own charts, try to back test it, see how many times it worked and how many times it failed, right? Then you can measure if it is a good strategy or not. And if you want to take your trading to the next level in 2023, our course can help you achieve that. The link is in the description below. And for those that are on the course already, we are going to have a live session where I will show you other confluences. I know I've talked about that in the course, but let's do a live session where we are going to talk about other confluences, because you don't just see these things and just execute your trades. Yes, I've showed you the work, right? But there are other confluences that will help you fine-tune your entries and your exit and further limit your risk of losing trades and all of those good stuff. So those that have paid for the course, watch out for that announcement. It's going to be made very, very, very soon. All right, so if you like this content and if you want to see more of this type of content, smash the subscribe button, like this video, leave us a comment if you like this kind of content and you want me to keep doing them. Bye for now, and I'm going to see you in the next video.